Hey everybody, welcome to my Mac laptop because we are running this show tonight off of it because my PC decided to do an update that is still updating on apparently. So I think I need to put it to sleep for a while, maybe permanently after this is all over. So thank you for your patience and your camaraderie in the chat while we got things going here. But Mike is ready and raring to go. He's already texting with you while I was going through my technical difficulties. So let me bring Mike in and we'll get this thing going. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Bill.
Well, we've been talking for the last 15, 20 minutes. So,
It's true.
well, welcome to the show. I've got to see. Wow, you have fireworks going on behind you. This was unexpected.
I think yours does it too. If you give the thumbs up, it might do it because you're Mac.
Uh-oh. No, it
I don't
doesn't.
know. You
I
have
guess
to
I
you have
didn't
to have a
tell.
new OS.
Yeah, I have not upgraded my Mac in a while. I saw Alberto. Mike let me know that you were trying to have me blame Maureen for this. No, this was totally on me. I reboot my computer every interview, any show I do, 15 minutes before the show. And when I did it, the Alienware said it started updating my firmware. And I was like, uh-oh, that's probably not a good thing. And it wasn't a good thing because I think there's still some updates that have to happen. So hey, live and learn. But I have this wonderful Mac laptop that I've never used for streaming before, and here we are. So Mike, obviously, I've seen in the chat you picked up artwork from the shows before, and I think that, gosh, I don't even know. I think you were renewing your premium membership or whatnot, and then we started emailing. And you mentioned about coming to OAX and a few other things. And I was like, hey, this is probably the right time to get you on the show because this is a good way to introduce you to the collectors who are also going to be at OAX and hanging out. And are you coming alone or are you coming with your significant other?
I am very fortunate that my partner Jennifer, she is into the comic book art stuff, so she and I are going together. Sad thing is, we'll only be there Saturday because I'm doing a workshop or giving a speech at a conference in Disney World. So as soon as I leave OAX, I drive over to Disney World and do my thing there, and then fly home.
Oh, well, that's too bad. Are you going to be there Friday though for the VIP stuff?
I will not. Again, I had another conflict, and I'll tell you on the DL when we're in OAX.
All right. Well, I'm sorry that you're only going to get Saturday, but I mean, if you're going to be there for any day, Saturday is it's definitely the day you want to be there. We have the fundraising auction, plenty of hangout time on Saturday. So, all right. Well, that's good. I mean, you'll get your best experience that you can out of it, and then maybe next year you can make a 2-day trip out of it.
Yeah, I wanted to do the whole kit and caboodle. I was talking to Jim Warden, who is John Burns' rep, and a bunch of other people in the industry, asking them, if they're going, and a lot of people said, "Oh yeah, we're totally looking forward to it." So I'm bummed I'm gonna miss out on geeking out with the people that I've met through comic art fans. Like I've met so many amazing people. When I tell you the stories of how people connected, it's absolutely mind-blowing.
But have you met a lot of or any of these folks in person yet, or is it okay? You have.
Yeah, a few of them, like Tony Fry came by the house. He's a fellow collector on CAF. Mike Barrera bought a Joe, I always mispronounce it. It's like Madureira. Isn't that how you pronounce it? Joe Madureira?
Metarera, yeah.
Okay, and he bought a Joe Madureira piece from me, came to the house. I happened to be at another conference speaking in I think it was Nashville, I can't remember. And so my wife waited for him, met him, and he said, "By the way, you seem like a nice person. We're doing this thing in Bethesda, Maryland, where all the comic art collectors get together at this guy Lee's house. Would he be interested?" And I said, it's tough for me to get away because my work schedule. And after my wife met him, she's like, "You've got to go. Mike is convinced me." So I went there, and that's where I met Jim Warden, who's John Burns' rep. And
Mm-hmm.
then I went over to Jim's house, and Jim had this piece on the wall. And so I'm looking at Jim has the most amazing, mind-blowing collection on the face of the earth. And I'm looking at all this stuff, and my jaw's on the floor, and Jim's just a lovely human being. Everybody's amazing. And there's this one piece, and it's the piece that I have in my CAF gallery. of a John Byrne commission. So my understanding is that one of the ways that Jim was compensated for being John Byrne's rep is through commission. So Jim has this amazing spectrum of commissions. And earlier, so this is a long story, I'll make it very short. So earlier, my dream was to have, as a comic book artist, one of the things I'm not that awesome at is painting. Got the pencil stuff, ink stuff, but the painting I'm not so great at. So I wanted someone to paint my X-Men, the X-Men that I grew up with, and it would be around the John Byrne, Terry Austin time period.
Mhm.
And so I contacted Anthony because he was repping Assad Ribic at the time. And again, if I'm getting this wrong, just point and laugh at me. So I said, hey, can Assad do a painting for me? And Anthony, being Anthony, if you know Anthony, you know how he communicates.
Oh, I know.
And we eventually got on the same page. And much love to Anthony. And he said, well, more direction would increase the likelihood that you'll get what you want. So I scoured the internet for what I thought was the quintessential my time period X-Men, and I stumbled upon this random image that happened to be that image that Jim Warden had on his wall. It was Wolverine fighting Sauron.
Mhm.
And I said, well, this is my dream right here. And Jim said, strangely enough, I might be thinking about letting it go. And I was like, whoa. So long story
Timing.
short, we made a deal, and now I have it at my place. And I never thought in a million years that I would have such a cool John Byrne piece. Thanks to you. Thanks to you and the connections that I made through Comic Art Fans.
Well,
Through
I
CAF.
mean, what time period are we talking about here? Because how long have you been collecting original art? Because I don't know. I just had the impression that it's a more recent journey, but fill me in.
So big comic book collector for years and years. Had and then I stumbled upon at Comic-Con in San Diego, right?
Mhm.
So I go there, and my dream back from when I was in college was one day when I've made it, I'll have an Alex Ross original. So I go to the conference, and my number one goal was to pick up X-Men #1 or something like that, and meet Simone Bianchi because I'm a huge fan. So, like, Simone's amazing. So I go there and I meet Simone, and I'm sure you've had the experience of idolizing some of these amazing artists, and you meet them, and you're like, you're just way even cooler than I thought. So I get to know Simone a little bit at the conference.
Mhm.
He just hangs out, him and his sister, and we're just chatting. And I wind up buying a piece, Thor from Asgard #3 cover. I buy it from him, and then I go over to Alex Ross's booth with Sal and the gang there, and they have some pieces. And my wife's like, you've always wanted an Alex Ross piece. You should get an Alex Ross piece. I was like, it's too expensive. I'm not going to be able to do it. And somehow, some way, we negotiated a deal, and I walked away with 2 Alex Ross paintings. And this was in 2010, 2008.
Wow.
I know. So that's how long I've been
No, wait.
collecting.
Did she know what the prices were on those pieces when she was telling you to buy them? Okay.
Yes, she remember, I'm the guy that's buying X-Men #1, so she knows how ridiculous prices can get,
Right.
So I was buying art, and I bought before that pandemic spike, and as every collector I think laments, I wish I would have bought more,
Of
because now some of the stuff I'm priced out of, I just can't justify it.
Should have bought 3. Why did stop at 2?
Ah! My crystal ball broke long ago.
As have most of ours too, right? I mean,
Yep.
but I know what you mean though. I mean, there's opportunities like that, and I've met many creators where I was very happy to have had that experience. Being able to get to meet them, because I mean, by and large, I mean, there's a bad experience here or there, but I can't even remember one that I've ever had. They're always been fun. So yeah.
Agreed. I mean, even the fellow collectors have just been. I emailed Alberto and I said, I'm going to talk about how amazing you are, and he said, well, thank you. He was really easy to work with. All the people, Anker, I'm just drawing a blank on everybody's names. Who was it? Jiggy, Justin Cruz, I think his name is.
Yep, from Mexico.
Of course, Anthony, Mike Berkey, Mark Hay, I think it's from Splash Page. Is that right?
Yes, he is.
So all these people have just been incredible and transparent, and that's one of the things I love about you and the people in the industry. It's very rare that that we get someone that feels kind of icky. And when I heard stories that when they do come into the ecosystem, they're kind of purged or set aside. You know, they kind of they kind of get pushed to the side because if they just if it's all about flipping stuff, they're like,
Right. No, no, it's true. Well, I think that those kind of people kind of burn themselves out at the same time. I mean, I don't know, unless you're really a churn and burn dealer. I mean, it's hard to kind of like, this is not the market to do that in. Trading cards, sports cards, comic books, that makes more sense. In the art market, where things are so subjective, you can buy something from one auction house for 15 grand. Think you can take it to the bigger auction house in a couple months and get 18 out of it, and you only get 12. It's when there's that kind of you know uncertainty in what you're going to get. I think it either keeps some people out of it, and hopefully turns off those people who get a little bit who think they can manipulate the market in a way that's to their advantage. So yeah, by and large, you end up with a lot of people who are fun to hang out with.
yeah, exactly. And it's really cool, man. I actually have a few questions for you. I'm just gonna pepper them in here if you don't mind.
Okay.
All right. So, just so people know, I'm not only enthralled with what Bill has built for comic art fans, original comic art fans, but I'm also mind blown by him being an entrepreneur because I know this is a bit of a leap of faith. If I've caught little things you've said, like you had a putt putt or something like that that you sold, or
I did. The bane of my existence, and everybody loves to joke about it. But yes, that is one of the different things that I've done over the years. But I mean, it was a lesson learned in being a good person for a community, right? I mean, that was kind of why we did it, and then it just became something that dragged me down for a long time. But it was fun. I got to be a local celebrity, not just somebody who people knew from doing stuff on the internet, which was kind of fun. I mean, I literally got to know every other business leader in the town that we lived in, and those were the things I wanted out of it. I got Business Person of the Year in 2008 because all that kind of stuff. Yeah, well, that plaque is not hanging on my back wall. It's in a box somewhere. But thing was, it did all the things that I wanted it to do. Working from home and things. So, but yeah, I lost a good chunk of my art collection when that happened.
oh wow. Well, so you when you created Comic Art Fans, what what problem were you personally trying to solve as a collector? And did you realize at the time how important Comic Art Fans would become?
No, no. I mean, I did it. I've told this story, a few times, but it's basically, I loved. I just gotten started in the hobby probably for 2 or 3 years, and in the late '90s and early 2000s, people who were collecting back then would know it was very, very closed hobby. If a lot of old timers in there, and you really had to get to know people in order to get better deals and access to stuff. The internet wasn't really, I mean, most people didn't have sites to sell artwork, but they had art websites to promote wanting to buy artwork. So there just wasn't any place to share your collection. And the big thing for me was just I was collecting sketches and commissions, and the few places where you could post that kind of stuff, comic book related, people would only post like their best Kirby covers and things. So you didn't get to see commissions. And I
Yeah.
was, well, I'm a web developer. We had our own consulting company, and we built CAF as a way to do two things. Allow people to post everything in their collection, and then that was my gateway to get to know people in the hobby. I felt like if I did that, then I would meet more people, and I wouldn't get in the inner circle, for
Yeah.
but I would have a seat at the table that I didn't have before.
That's awesome, man. I uh, I saw somebody said want to hear about my origin story. Got one more question for you, Bill,
Okay.
before we move forward. What surprises you most about how people use CAF today compared to when you originally envisioned it? Like, what is the big surprise, or is there?
Oh no, I mean I get surprised every day. Honestly, you just never know how people will use the site, how they can break it, how I can break things. I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, as far as I don't know. I mean, the biggest thing for me is just knowing the relationships that CAF spawned, right? The friendships between collectors and that kind of thing. I really wasn't aware of that in the first 15, 18 years of doing CAF. I was just I liked being the mechanic. I liked doing what I was doing, but I really didn't have a lot of people telling me that like they made lasting friendships and
Hmm.
things, and
Yep.
reflecting friendships too. They're not close buddies or anything like that, but the idea that they met collectors who like collecting X-Men art like they do, that sort of thing, and that was the stuff that was missing, because I thought Facebook handled all that for people, right? And Instagram and all those other places, and here, CAF was like building those relationships. And uh, for me, that was kind of that's the thing that I think I appreciate the most, more than anything else that CAP has accomplished, is just knowing that it's brought people together. And I think, all along, like building a mini golf, uh, you know, I've always enjoyed events. I think that's where, the foundation of OAX is from that. I had meetups in Columbus and things like that. And then when Kazra and I started working on OAX, it just everything kind of grew, with his vision and the things that I want to do. But I love doing stuff that brings people together. I'm very antisocial, so I think that's a mechanism that I use to be around people, because otherwise I would be in the corner not talking to anybody, because I was pretty shy growing up. Uh, so yeah, I think that's all a part of it. But that's what I think. It's appealing to me, and I think that people know that it's. I come from a sincere place, as do everybody that have been working on CAF for the last several years, and that's why I think we continue to be successful. So yeah.
That's awesome, man. Uh, I um I used to as a I went to grew up in Baltimore City, and I got into this world because it was an escape, the comic book world. I don't know about you, but to read something where I wasn't dealing with homicides and robberies and all kinds of weird stuff growing up in Baltimore City, I was like, this is amazing. There's people who can shoot laser beams out of their eyes, and they have knives for hands, and I was like, oh my goodness gracious. So way back in the day, I really got into comic books, and I got into it around X-Men 161 was my first comic, I think it was. Do you remember? If you do, you're gonna blow my mind. Do you remember it was the X-Men when it was Paul Smith was drawing it, and it was the one where Wolverine was kind of covered in the scales because he was between Brood and not Brood. I want to say that's like 161, 163, somewhere in there. I don't
I
know.
don't remember the issue. I think that was still Cockrum, though, because I had a page from
Ooh.
that where
Well, yeah, maybe I might have gotten the
I
number
think that
wrong.
was, well, I might have been in one of those. You're right. I mean, the Brood were still, in there during the Smith run, but I remember
Oh,
when Wolverine
165.
yeah, I'm not watching the chat at the moment.
Yeah, that was Cockrum. So
Yeah, I thought that was Cockrum, because yeah, I had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful page in that the mini golf helped build. I wish I had a tech, where he was half, converted and clawing his way through Broods. It was probably like the best Cockrum page I've ever owned. And but yeah, I
that
love
was
I love those stories. But yeah, that would
yeah,
have been just a few issues, because I forget what issue Smith took over. 169, one.
167, 169. Yeah, it was when it blew my mind because that's when I just started noticing the artwork. So, um, what happened? So, comic book collecting, and then I started. I have a choice between going to public school in where I grew up in Irvington in Baltimore, which
Mhm.
was not a good option for me. And the other option was to see if I can get into a place called Baltimore School for the Arts. So I wound up getting in. It was very, very stressful at the time. I'm a kid. Got into Baltimore School for the Arts somehow, some way, and I got to go to school with randomly Tupac Shakur. I got to go to school with Jada Pinkett, who married Will Smith, and we were at King's Dominion, and Tupac and Jada went into this booth to make a video. Back in the day, you could make a VHS video, and they were making fun of Will Smith's parents just to understand.
Oh my.
And flash forward, she winds up marrying the guy. So anyway, I had a very interesting experience, got really into the artwork and drawing comic books. And then I met some guys, I'm forgetting one of their names, but one of them was Dave Baker and the other one was, he's going to kill me that I forgot his name, but they were at a local comic book shop and they said, hey, you said you're an artist, would you be interested in showing us your stuff? And I showed them my stuff and they said, would you be interested in drawing the next issue of the book? And I was like, yeah. I mean, they were just an indie comic, local indie comic back in the 90s. So the 90s craze for comic books. Any number one would sell like 1 billion copies, but that's not true. So I wound up doing some comic book art, and I can share it if you want.
Yeah, we can. And just so everybody knows, I'm not ignoring the chat. I'm literally looking at this. I have a MacBook Air, so I have the smallest screen possible. I can barely read the chat. I have to lean in just to read it. So I'm not ignoring any of you. I can assure you of that. I just can't see see the chat as well as I can when it's on my large screen monitor. Yep.
Last Unstoppable Jay just said, Tom, I would have never thought you were a Tupac fan.
Tupac fan. Well, number one Marvel fan. I would never have guessed that either. But hey, it is what it is. Yep. So yeah, if you can use the share thing, because just so you know, everybody, I literally had all the files prepped on my PC, and while I'm looking at them, I can't share them.
Let's see. Do I hit the present button?
Yeah. You click present, and then if you have like your image up there, it'll
give this. Let's hope it works.
And then I can actually bring it up, and then you'll be able to navigate it.
Okay, share entire screen. All right, so let me know if it comes up.
Yeah, it looks like it's got your whole screen. You're sharing your whole screen at the moment.
That's fine. Yep, that's good. Okay. So
make whatever you want to look at full screen though. Yeah, because let's see.
Yeah, I'll make it full screen. So so I was in high school and drawing, my favorite pop stars like Marilyn Monroe. I did a drawing for my dad, and my wife was really into Jim Morrison, so I do a drawing of Jim Morrison, stuff like that. Learning how to hone my skills as a renderer. And then when I met these guys, I started drawing comic books, and I created this idea, and a buddy of mine, Chris, who's like one of these super talented guys who can sing, he can act, he can write. He wrote the script for this book called Noah's Ark. And so I would draw the artwork. I don't know. Is this big enough?
That's as big as we're going to get it.
Yep, that's big as we're going to get it. So I would draw the artwork, and then I'd go into the computer, because this is around the time I started college, and I'd go in there and finish the artwork like this. So you can see that I would draw the backgrounds in and such, add the coloring, and I feel like this is a very 90s way to color things looking at it now, but it's what we do. And then I would just put in these fun backgrounds for the artwork. Hopefully I'm not boring people to tears, but you get the idea.
Mm-hmm.
So, and around the time that I stopped, I mean, it's hard to tell, but the more and any artist will tell you, I'm sure, the more I drew, the better I got. Now, I'm not suggesting that this is that great, but what, as an artist, I'm enamored with is I was starting to get the weight of the characters. So if you look at the frog people, I don't know what they are, but it felt like there was actual weight being put on the legs. And that's when I started to really get excited about it. And I also got more serious. I'm going to stop sharing now. How do you do that? How do I stop sharing? Oh, you just did that. Okay. So the more I got serious about comic book art, the more I was afraid that it would become a job and I'd stop loving it. So I went to a few, portfolio reviews, and there was some interest expressed from a few of the studios. And when it became real, I said no. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be a comic book artist for a living. And I knew that as I did it more, I'd get better and better. And I knew I had a lot of growth to do. But I loved it so much. I didn't want it to become work, if that makes any sense. And feel like, I feel like it would have been a very different path for me had I done that. Very different path. I don't know that I would ever become a Jay Lee or anybody like that, but I would have certainly enjoyed my job and probably, and this is going to sound really weird, probably lived a lot leaner because, comic book artists aren't raking in the dough unless you're in the top, 100.
So you got to, you got yourself in a good position, a good job, and then you could afford the artwork that you wanted to draw. But now you get to own it from the creators that are making the artwork. Yeah, no, well, I think that's the path many of us have taken, and there's nothing wrong with that, because otherwise, yeah, I mean, you talk to a lot of artists, or a lot of artists are not art collectors, as well. I mean, they might have a piece they get from trades and things like that, but not too many. You don't have a lot of like Phil Hester's or Scott Williams out there who are big time art collectors as well. I mean,
Yep.
because it's a job, like you said, and I would imagine that a lot of them just look at it as ink on paper, right?
Yeah.
It's not something that they want to hang on their wall, or collect from other artists that whose work they like.
It's history. It's amazing, man. And yeah, you're right, CJ. It's something I still do. I still do the artwork. I still help people. My wife is a writer, and I'll do her book covers and things like that. So she publishes under JT Bach, and she'll write these. She created this amazing world where it's like if you took Avengers, 007 and Indiana Jones and put them in a vat and just shook them around, you'd get this world she created. She's gonna kill me. Ultra security. So basically, these people who have enhanced abilities get hired to solve crimes that are related to other people who have enhanced abilities, and it's a really clever, unique world that she's created. And so my dream when I retire, when I slow down a little bit, I would love to create a graphic novel based on her novels. So we'll see.
Well, that would be a fun collaboration, right?
As long as she didn't kill me, yeah.
Oh man, so back to art collecting then. So when did you buy your first piece of OA? I mean, was it was it an intentional thing, or was it something that was more spur of the moment?
Well, both. So I went to Comic-Con thinking I would love to get a piece of Simone Bianchi's work, and it happened. And this is back before prices were what they were. And then we went over to Alex Ross's booth and saw some pieces. And back then the prices weren't what they are now, and still they were very high. And my wife said, let's do this. There's one thing I've learned in the original comic art collection world. Unlike comic books, there's only one, and when it becomes available, it's one of those things where this is probably going to be one of the few times that you're going to get a chance to own it, because so one of my grail pieces, and I hope that OAX can scratch this itch, is to have a dream is a Kirby early X-Men. That's my dream. I'll take a Don Heck, I'll take a Werner Roth, but early X-Men is my goal. And so I approached people via CAF. I'd say, hey, being very respectful, love your collection, might you be interested in parting with and I would thing. And to date, everybody said nope. And that's fine, because I don't think I would sell it either. So that's one of the things I'm looking for. So as I go through this journey, I've learned that, like the Jim Warden story, when I go to Jim's house and he's got the John Byrne piece that I didn't know even existed.
Hmm.
I was like, and he said, so the stars have to align. Not only do I have to find the person that owns it, but then they have to be open to selling it or parting with it or trading or something. And then I'm like, well, it's meant to be. It's meant to be, and it rarely happens. And Alberto, this is one of those things. So years ago in 2000, whatever it was, when they did the tribute edition for Giant Size X-Men, and
Mhm.
Adi Granov and Trad Moore and a bunch of other people did their versions of the cover, I remember seeing Adi's cover and I was like, what what is this magical thing? And Adi in an interview said something like he wanted to do that good balance of it's still comic booky because you have the outlines flatten things out, but you still have that volumetric vibe to it. So he did this piece, and I was like, whoever owns that, they're very, very lucky. So flash forward to Comic Art Live
The Comic
2020.
Art Live last month in November.
Yep.
Yes.
And Alberto places it up there, and I reached out to him and I was like, "Uh, are, are you open to negotiating just a little bit?" And Alberto was very, very kind. And he was, because he could have been like, no, go away, you suck. Nope, not at all. He was very open to it. He said, what do you have in mind? And we were going to do partial trade, partial cash. Ultimately, we did an all cash deal, and Alberto was nothing but accommodating. When I changed my mind, because I was going to trade him my Hellboy piece for it, part of it.
Mhm.
And at the last minute, I was like, I can't do it. I'm going to keep my
You'd
Hellboy piece. And he's
Right.
like,
You'd
that's
rather just
okay.
lose the cash, not the art, right?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Okay.
he's like, "That's okay. I'll resubmit the invoice for just the cash. It's okay." So it
Mhm.
was very nice of him to do, because he could have been totally like, "Arr, that guy Mike," and he didn't. And so ultimately, it came in the mail, and I was just like, I cannot believe. I kept telling my wife, I can't believe this piece is in our house. Like I was like, in my opinion, it is one of the best X-Men paintings ever done, because it just captures the magic. Because not only is it the iconic giant size X-Men cover, a rendition of it, but it's also just spectacularly well done. I mean, Colossus looks like you could pick him up and just carry him around. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing of job that Adi did. And if you look at it, there is so much nuance in this, that he paid tribute or homage to the original, very subtle things to it, that it's just spectacular. And I did notice that Marvel moved his signature, by the way. His signature's in a different place in the actual artwork than it is on the actual cover.
Oh, they
So
didn't
they
want.
moved it to the bottom tear instead of the right hand tear.
Uh,
Yeah. It is just incredible. So Alberto, thank you. I never thought, first of all, I didn't even know it was out there in the wild to be had. Um, I thought maybe Adi just had it in his collection, and then Alberto it just pops up. I mean, it was meant to be, because I would have never sought it, because I thought it wouldn't be possible. Because of Comic Art Live, I am now the proud owner.
I
So
mean, did you use your want list keywords to find it, or did you happen to stumble on it at the beginning of the show? So you
uh,
did. Okay. So the
yep.
system worked. That's all.
It does. And because of that, I've been able to buy pieces, because I do know that speed matters.
Mhm.
So those keywords matter, because I'll get that email that comes up that says, "Hey, this new piece came up, and I've got like X-Men, Alex Ross painted. I've got certain keywords." And it just popped up, and at least two other times, Bill, I've been able to get pieces that I wouldn't have been able to get otherwise, because I had that automated email that says, "Hey, by the way, someone's selling this piece that might be on your want list."
Well, that's always great to hear. It's one of it's we're trying to make the the want list alerts, you know uh, our art scout crawler not be the best kept secret in the industry, but it does help out a lot, and it does. And even though we talk about it a lot during Comic Art Live, it really is a huge benefit. I mean, I start my buying there, and I get to walk through the virtual halls, the whole week leading up to the show, but I don't get to see anything. I just make sure everything's working right, and I rely on it too. So nope, I'm totally with you. I think I know other team members, on CAF picked up pieces because of the want list alert as well. So that's awesome.
And
And
I'm watching the thread, and I'm a massive Cyclops fan. So like you, Bill.
there we go. See, so you did, Marcus, two Cyclops on the cover was not a negative at all.
That's right.
Go with
Uh,
that.
One of the ways I can tell if someone's a true comic book nerd, geek, I should say, not nerd. Geek and nerd are different. So is that if I say to someone, Scott Summers' optic blasts are concussive, they don't burn. If I say that and people get it, I'm like, you're one of us.
Yeah, I was wearing my I have a button down Cyclops printed like 95 kind of a vibe era shirt, and I wore it to Hollywood Studios in Orlando, and it was funny. It was only my daughter and and she's like, nobody's gonna say anything, and I had so many people giving me the thumbs up and and high-fiving me, and even the vendors behind selling us food or stuff were so yeah. Cyclops is pretty popular. Wear it. I've worn it many times, Marcus. I'm not going to change my wardrobe this evening just for you.
I have to say, and Bill, and forgive me if I'm saying something sacrilegious. I've fallen less out of love with Scott Summers as they made him kind of even more of a jerk face. Like, I was like, you kind of make me not like him because he was like the leader and the person who's like got to make the tough decisions, and then he
Mhm.
started becoming this like, well, the ends justify the means, and I'm like, ugh.
Right. I mean, when I was reading it, yeah, Marcus, I did. There's more than one. What about, we know who the other Cyclops fans are, but
Yep.
yeah, I mean, well, I remember scratching my head when it was like, Jean dies and he immediately falls for another redhead, and I'm just like, why are they doing that? Are they really, it's like, I don't, that's, but at the end of the day, that's human nature, right? If I like
Yeah.
redheads, I probably am going to date another redhead after my current girlfriend leaves me or dies or whatever. I mean, it's just how things go. So
Right.
I identified with Cyclops. I mean, they're painting him right. And what is he going to go out and date Lois Lane or Big Barda or something next? I mean, no, another, a woman that appeals to him. So
Yep.
there.
Like the White Queen. I'm just saying.
Exactly. Right. I mean, well, that was when he was going on the wild side. I mean, what did we know? But yeah, no, it's anyway. So there we go. So the thing is, back to Alberto. I think that's what we should be talking about right here is that Alberto is a good guy, but I have never seen Alberto like blow a gasket. It probably happens every now and again where he might just be like, no, but Alberto does not impress me as the guy who would do that. He would always find a way to work with somebody else on a deal to get art in their hands and further him on his collecting journey. I mean, that's a nice piece for him, but does it fit his collection? I don't know. That's something we all go through, right? And I'm sure that was why Alberto put it into Comic Art Live, right? It was just something that he liked, beautiful, but yeah, he's
Yeah, you'd have to ask him why he did it because he sent me a picture of it framed in his house, and he did it was sexy. He did this black matted frame with a black, somewhat ornate wooden frame around the black mat, and it was. I basically went to the frame shop. It should be ready December 19th coming up. But I basically said, "Here's what Alberto did. Can you do something like this? Because I think this looks good."
Oh man, Alberto's the best. Alberto. Yeah, what? We got to get Alberto on a Thursday show to do CAF picks one day. I think that would be fun. He would
Yeah.
probably pick all Captain America art, but it would be all right. It would make for a very focused show. So Alberto, in 2026, you just name the Thursday you want, and we'll give Chris Nork the night off. So there, I think that would be good. And he might even pick a piece of Cyclops art if we get lucky.
I'm
Probably.
not sure.
Anyway, so we were talking about that, but now date wise though, I'm still trying to get what year was the first piece of art that you picked up?
I
All right.
think it was it's in my CAF description, I believe, for
Okay.
the Flash piece, the Alex Ross Flash piece. I believe it was 2010 Comic Con San Diego. I got that and the Justice. Oh, I'm drawing a blank on the name. The comic because I thought it was Kingdom Come because it looked like Kingdom Come, but it wasn't. And the Alex Ross booth didn't know, so they said, "Yeah, it's Kingdom Come, but it's not Kingdom Come." Are you bringing it up as well?
Yeah, I'm looking. Well, I'm trying to look at the the dates at least, and I don't see a description on the one with the flash. I mean, I can bring that
Yeah. Yeah,
one up.
I'm pretty sure it was 2010.
Okay.
Comic-Con 2010. My wife would know, but around then, around 2010. So I got the Simone Bianchi Thor piece. I got this Flash piece, which is pretty big. I pulled hold on.
Okay, so it's a different Alberto. I'm sorry, everybody. I figured it was our
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, no, no. Well, I figured that's why you were shortcutting it, that it was our Alberto. Okay, I get it.
No,
It's a different Alberto. I can actually
Alberto Morales is his name.
Morales. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I know who that is. All right, well, there we go. So I hear I'm talking about our Alberto. Okay, so you got
it's
the
pretty
piece in
big.
the end.
It's pretty big, you know. The John Byrne piece is massive. Oh, here, check this out. You can't hear me, but
So yeah, we want Alberto Morales on for the CAF update, not Alberto Gonzalez.
hold on.
That's it. So you haven't framed it yet? You still working?
No, December 19th. So I went to the I looked online for, frame shops that could do this, because I was like, I spent too much on this to leave it with you. I'm sorry. So I said, can I bring it to your shop? You measure it, do whatever you got to do. I take it back with me, and
Mhm.
then when all your materials come in, I'll bring it to you, and then that day you frame it, and I'll just come back. I'll give you the day to do it. And I found one shop that would do that. So the December 19th, I'm going to get a phone call, and I'm also going to, while I'm there, going to get two more framed, which are going to be this piece. It's amazing.
All right, now who's that by? I'm sorry, I can't make it out.
This, why am I drawing a blank on his name? Oh, it's the guy. I think his artwork, and forgive me if I upset anybody. His artwork reminds me
Oh, Nick
of
Bradshaw. It's Nick
Nick
Bradshaw.
Bradshaw. Yes, thank
Yeah.
you. His artwork reminds me a lot of Art Adams. Like, I feel like they're very similar vibes. And I stumbled upon Nick Bradshaw because of my love for Art Adams artwork. So I'm going to get that piece made. And once again, I found a piece because of Comic Art Friends, because of CAF. I got a notification. Hey, this piece by Nick Bradshaw came up. I love that one shot of Wolverine
Mhm.
slicing up the Sentinel's head. And I was like, just for that, just for that. And the price was amazing. And the person lived right by me. So my wife was going to visit some friends in Gaithersburg, Maryland. And she just met the guy. Him and his wife were there, and they did the deal. And that was it, at a restaurant.
Man, you've got the best wife ever. She encourages you to buy five-figure pieces, and she does art pickups for you. I mean,
Yep.
we're all jealous.
I'm very lucky. I'm very, very lucky. I mean,
Yes.
when I used to go to comic book conventions, I would submit my artwork, and this is bad. I shouldn't share this.
Uh-oh.
So,
We're going
I
to be
used,
seeing you and your wife at OAX. Not so maybe you think twice before you give away any secrets, because
well, I won't,
somebody in the chat forgets.
I won't ever do this again. So my wife and I would go to comic book conventions, local comic book conventions in Baltimore and around the area. And because I was a comic book artist, I would do some artwork, and they'd have comic book, what do you call it? You submit your artwork and you win a prize. I forget what you call that. And so they would have different categories. So what I would do, this is so bad. So that I could win the most prizes, I would submit one in my name, and then Jennifer would sit another piece of my artwork in her name.
Oh man, that's yeah.
I know, I
Oh
know,
boy.
I know. So we would win like a couple prizes. It would be like, tchotchke stuff, but still, it was just bragging rights. And then one time, this is how horrible of a person I am. I'm surprised my wife hasn't left me yet. Back in the day, I've gotten better. Is one time my piece that I submitted didn't win, but the piece that she submitted for me won, and I got mad at her. It's terrible.
Yeah,
I don't know how she stayed with me.
we're gonna ask her that question when we meet her, I think, on Saturday. What do you see in
Yeah.
this guy? And we'll find out. She'll give us an honest answer, because it has to be something good. Because otherwise, yeah. But Alberto, just so you know, you can still come on and do picks in 2026. I'm not. I think even though I didn't know I was not talking about you, you're more than welcome to come back on. I just have to let Morales know that he's allowed as well, because I was really talking about him. All right. So what else we got here? So we have some more artwork to look at. I'm trying to think of like art collecting stuff. So I mean, when did you? I'm going to take a look here, because I forget when you actually came upon CAF. So you joined CAF during the pandemic, right at the beginning of it. Well, after about 6 months. So October 2020. So it's like 10 years after you got started. I mean, did you know about CAF before that, or was that just okay? So it took 10 years in your collecting journey to discover CAF, and now 6 years
Yep.
later, or 5 years
I
later.
got during the pandemic, I said, you know what? I like this original comic art thing more than I like comic books. So I sold my entire collection to fund other purchases
Mm-hmm.
and for a comic book. And that's when I got serious. And I thought, how might I find and be found as a comic art collector? And I stumbled upon CAF. And I didn't know what the heck it was. I was like, what is this? So, yes, I do have Instagram, and anything I do on social media, you can almost guarantee that my wife's doing it. So, if I put, because I have a social media presence on
What
YouTube
do you,
and stuff.
Mike? What your wife seems to do almost everything for you. She picks up your artwork. She probably she does. She encourages you to buy more artwork, and I mean, she probably cooks and cleans too. That's
She's,
just not fair.
yeah.
Right?
I'm very lucky, man, because
Mike,
I know other people that their partners do not
see,
share
look,
that love.
Alberto. Our Alberto says, "Why are we interviewing Mike? We want to interview his wife."
I was totally gonna ask you if you minded Jennifer sticking, but you'll meet her at OAX. She's when people. So this is gonna sound really self-aggrandizing, and I don't mean it the same way. People meet me and they go, "You seem like a pretty cool guy. You're not a jerk face." And I say, "Well, thanks." And then they meet my wife and they're like, "But you suck compared to your wife. Like she's just a sweetheart." Like I know. She is much better than I am. Trust me.
Wow. Let's see. What is Gabriel? Bill still didn't answer my question about how he got Hubert over to his house, not once but twice. Well, it's because he lives in Orlando. He's not an hour away from my home, Gabriel. So, yeah, I've actually he's been here 3 times, because he came to the 20th anniversary party when I first moved here. Our good friend Wolvie fan Rob, who's bought a lot of artwork from Adam, brought Adam to the party, and that was the first time Adam came to the house. That was when Kazra and I, got back in touch. He was in Orlando. He came to that party too. Momentous day. I mean, a lot of it was kind of exclusive. We had Larry Thun was there. Mikhail came. Aranga. Jason D'Ambrosio was not there. And neither was our Alberto, but many collectors showed up for that event, and it was a lot of fun. Bill Morrison was there, his rep Ken was there. I mean, it was a good time. Anthony and Sharon and Mike Berkey all came from up north to that event. So, but yeah, that's how it's fun, But yeah, that's why Orlando was a good place to have OAX. There's a lot of creatives in the area.
Any chance I get to meet people that collect or people who are making this a career, it's a good day.
Exactly.
Yep.
No, and Alberta, you're more than welcome to stop by my house if you come into. I know you're coming into Florida. Alberto's actually, I think, arriving. I think from what I remember seeing, he's getting here like on Monday of that week and doing Disney for 4 straight days before OAX. So he's making a vacation out of it, which is what we always tell people. Bring your spouse, bring your kids, and have a good time. I mean, that was part of the reason why Orlando made a lot of sense. I mean, from living up north all my life. I always enjoyed getting to come down here in the wintertime. So that was why we don't have a show in Cleveland. We have a show in Orlando. Oh man. But okay. So we've figured out a few things. You have a good eye for art and an amazing wife. And but where does that take you? So you buy a few pieces at a San Diego Comic-Con. I mean, were you hooked at that moment? Or did you literally go out the following month in August and try to find another show or a website to buy art from, or how do you get from there to where you are right now?
Well, once I realized that apparently I like, collecting stuff, and I've always, and this is going to sound weird too, as an artist, I always chose that I would only have original art on our walls. And
Mm,
Jennifer's like, okay. And of course, can't always do that. But the good news is we live in such a way that like we can swing it. So once I realized that, so once I realized that the original art that made me happiest, and Jennifer enjoyed it as well, was the original comic book art, I turned my eyes away from um, the comic book collecting and toward the art side. So uh, flashback to the first year we go to Comic-Con, which is mind blowing. First time I'm there, I'm like, oh my god, sensory overload. It's a lot. There was a piece we saw by David Palumbo, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's on my CAF gallery, and it's got the blood running down. It's a woman. She's laying there. She's got a raven on her chest or on her stomach or behind her, and the blood's running down. And I saw this piece, and this was when we bought the Alex Ross pieces, and that's the piece. And so the next year we go to Comic-Con in San Diego. I walk up to David Palumbo and I said, "Hey, do you remember that piece?" And he laughed and he said, "That's long gone. That's long gone, Mike." And I was like, "Oh, poop." So in about I can't remember, about 3 or 4 years ago, I'm on the internet, and this is not through CAF. I get this random email of this auction that's happening in France for sci-fi art and stuff like that. Now, normally I just ignore that stuff, and
mhm.
for whatever reason, Kismet, I don't know. I clicked on the link and I'm scrolling through the artwork. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Oh,
And then
that's
there's
the
your
piece. That's David Palumbo's piece. So I reached out to the person who had it on the site and I said, hey, told him the story. And I said, would you be willing to sell it? Because it was like you can just make an offer. And thank you very much, Sleep by Palumbo. So I made an offer and the guy said yes. He shipped it over from France and now it's in our collection.
wow.
So, I mean, both my wife and I saw this piece, and it had such a haunting vibe to it that we were like, oh my gosh, I wish we would have bought it. And that's the thing that's happened in the past. We were in Greece, saw this painting, we were struggling financially, and we said we really like it, but we just can't justify it. And then to this day, we lament. And this was one of those pieces where we were like, oh, we just bought the Alex Rosses, we can't justify it. And then we lamented not getting it for years and years, and it presented itself, and we were like, that's it, we're getting it. So we on up buying it, and it's on the wall, and we're so happy. And think about it, people come to our house and they see this like in the dining room, and we have like other paintings that are like, here's a skull, and they must think we're like devil worshippers or something.
Well, we're not allowed to hang skull art here at my house, but no, Palumbo's stuff is great, and that doesn't happen too often where you see a piece, lose a piece, especially if you've seen it in person, and then to actually be able to find it, again, that's pretty rare. But
Mhm.
I love Dave's work too. I mean, we went to his studio, Kazra and I and Tatiana, when we were up in PA a couple months ago, and yeah, he's just a great guy. His art's fantastic, and while he does a lot of commercial work for Magic the Gathering and Marvel and a few others, I love the pieces that are more personal to him. Kazra picked up this beautiful painting that he did about a year ago, and yeah, I just love his work, and he's so talented, and you get to see him again at OAX.
Yeah, I saw that. Bill, can you pull up the I'm going to ask the collectors in the group. Can you pull up the Alex Ross piece of the big three? It's got Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, and Green Lantern on it. It's the Justice Society or Justice something. So if you can zoom in, I don't know if you can zoom in. Poop, you can't.
That's as
I
close
might
as
be able to.
you get on that one. Yeah.
I can't. I might be able to zoom in. Can I zoom in? Ah, poop. So, if anybody goes there right now, there is a character in the background above Batman's the ears for Batman. I swear to God, that is Alfred E. Newman. Like, if you look, it
All right,
is
now
Alfred E. Newman.
where's my magnifying glass? I'm gonna look at. I
Yep.
mean,
Yeah, it's you know how I was told by Sal that those people painted in the background with a single bristle brush by Alex Ross were people that he knew, some of them, and one of them, I swear to you, is the top of Alfred E. Newman's head. And one day I hope to find out if that's true.
Well, yeah. Well, hopefully, maybe you can run into him and ask him directly, right? I mean, he doesn't get out the shows too often. That's the only downside.
No, that is the downside, but
Yeah,
still.
I can't zoom in. I'm sorry.
No, 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 that's all right. And I'm not going to waste everybody's time trying to bring it up on my end. I know I have it somewhere, but I don't want to waste anybody's time. And if you're bored, which I doubt anybody is, but if you're bored, go to the page and see if you can look. It's gotta be Alfred E. Newman. Anyway, there was something else. There was somebody else I wanted to bug at the show. I can't remember.
Who you know what at OAX you mean?
Yeah, I ran into at Baltimore Comic Con. I ran into Art Adams, and
Mhm.
it's crazy because you go to San Diego, you can't get anywhere near the artists. It's like they're mobbed. You go to Baltimore, and if people don't know who they are, you can walk right up to them. So I walk up to Art, and I said, "Hey, by the way, you were kind enough to sell me those Wolverine pages. Can you bring up one of those Wolverine Art Adams pages?"
Uh,
Again, I should have probably. I don't know. I got them somewhere.
let's see.
Um,
I know I
but
got
I
harder on this laptop, but I'll make it work. Here we go.
if not, no big deal.
No,
So, Art Adams. So I'm at the show in San Diego, and I saw these two pieces. This is one of them, and I think it was his wife. I'm not sure. Said he stepped away. He's not here. I said I want to get both pieces. Would Art be kind enough to give me a deal for both pieces? And she goes, well, he just stepped away. When he comes back, so he comes back, and I'm like, Art. I mean, you're like you have no idea how much your artwork is influenced me, and you're just amazing. And he was like, thanks. I'm sure he gets it all the time. And we took a picture. And so I don't have the picture handy, but we took a picture and I put it online, and everybody thought we were brothers because of our coloring, our facial hair. And so I told Art, by the way, that people thought we were brothers. And I asked him, can you confirm the story of this artwork and the other piece? And he said, well, what's the story I told you? And I said, the story was that you were kind of like, you didn't have a whole lot of work at the time. And so Marvel said, hey, we're working on this new series called Ultimate X or Ultimates. Can you do some concepts for us? And so Art, to get some money, started doing these sketches, and he's got a series of them. I want to say it's like 8 to 10,
Mhm.
something like that, 8 to 10 of them, maybe more. And this was one of them. And there's another one that shows Wolverine being feral and how fast his hair grows. And then you submitted him to Marvel, and that was it. And he said, yes, that's exactly what happened. So I just got that confirmation. And then I said, hey, are you going to be at OAX this year? This is my first year. And this was like 4 weeks ago or so. And Art was like, yes, I will be. And it's going to be my first year. Is that true? It's Art's first year?
Yeah, yeah, he was not there at the first two.
That's
So,
cool.
yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
yeah.
And this page right here, so after I bought it, they turned it into a cover. So
That's every collector's dream right
I
there.
know the part of Wolverine right there with Wolverine coming out, they turned it into it's in the comic, the CAF description, but it became Wolverine Legacy #1. I was
Hmm.
like, oh, that was amazing. Because Art said he didn't think any of that stuff would be used, and it wound up being used in the cover of Wolverine Legacy #1 or something like that. I got lucky. Who knew?
Right. No, I mean, it has not happened to me, but it's happened to a lot of people I've talked to. Whether they commission an artist or, but something like this. I mean, it wasn't it the other piece was dated like 2009. Okay, this one's dated 2009 as well. So
Hmm.
the idea that that this stuff ends up being covers is crazy. But you just never know, right? I mean, that's why a lot of times when you do a cover quality commission with an artist, they a lot of them will put a little extra effort into it because they're going to they or their rep is going to submit it to Marvel or DC to hopefully convert it to a cover, and that's every commissioner's dream is to
Yep.
you commission a artist and then have that piece turned into a cover and get it for a good price at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah, because it can be expensive. And no, to my knowledge, there was no Cyclops version. Agent X710 said that. I don't know.
Yes.
The other thing is, so at this Bethesda comic book gathering party thing, um, there was a guy there that commissioned art to do this amazing, like mind-blowing rendition of giant size X-Men number. Is it giant size X-Men number one? You know, when they're all running from Krakoa or whatever it is, they're all
Yeah.
running at the screen.
Yep.
Oh my God. So art does this, and it was not cheap. That's all I can say. And art does this, and it was so well done and so important that Art and his wife had him over their house for dinner. So it was like this amazing piece. And if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, it wound up being, after the artwork was created, it wound up being used by Marvel legitimately. So I could be wrong, but it is one of the most amazing
It
things
is.
I've seen art ever do, man. It's
Yeah,
just
that
mind
was Larry
blowing.
Tunn's piece, actually. Yeah, everybody's
Yes.
in the chat too. Yeah, Larry was very proud. He was like a new father, and he was a new father around that time. But he also felt like you saw the smile on that man's face when he got to pick that piece up. Yeah, and it is spectacular. It's because it's like a wraparound. Yeah,
Yep.
it's trying to pull it up on CAF, but I can't do it on this little laptop here.
It
But
it is mind blowing how beautiful and incredible it is, and I mean, Larry told me the story of it, and I was like, "Geez, yeah, that's incredible." Yeah, he brought it to that's awesome that he brought it to your house. I'd love to see it one day. I think so when I was at Baltimore Comic Con, when I walked up to Art, he said Larry had just walked away, so I just missed Larry. So hopefully, some of the people that are on here are going to also be at OAX, and I'll get to meet some of you, more of you, or see some people that I've already met. I'm just not sure who's going to be there, and there's so many people that I've seen on CAF Plus or whatever the YouTube channel that they've been in my house, but they don't know who I am. So I don't want to freak them out and be like, "Hey, how you doing?" And they'll be like, "Who are you? Get
well,
away from my
we don't have
table."
name badges. You can write your name on the lanyard. But
Doesn't
yeah,
matter.
when we did our 20th anniversary get together, I did a hello, my name is, and most people put them on. It was probably a good thing, for that event. We didn't have there was only like 24, 25 people, but there were some local collectors and whatnot, and that's what's fun about OAX. You're gonna have a lot of people traveling to that show, but there'll be a fair number of local collectors as well. So yeah, Alberto here, he brings up an interesting. It's not even a point, but I'll just say it. He says, as hard as it may be to believe, his goals for 2026 are to pick up a Kirby X-Men and a Wally Wood Daredevil. Knows that, Cap. Do you set goals for yourself, Mike?
Yeah, I mean that was I too share a goal for the Kirby X-Men. So I hope one day it'll happen, but I will gladly settle for a Werner Roth or Don Heck. So yes. And because of the piece that I got from the Adi Granov piece, because of the John Byrne piece that I was able to get, these are pieces I didn't think were possible. So Alex Ross was my bucket list. Got that. And as a fellow collector, I'm guessing some of you will say, yeah, I got my bucket list and kept going. Then the John Byrne, the Adi Granov, I never thought would be on my radar. Stumbled upon him. I had the Joe Madureira. I didn't expect to ever be able to have that. I'm a big fan of Dale Keown's run on The Incredible Hulk, and I'm even bigger fan of Pitt. So when I believe I got it from Comic Art Live, I got a Hawk Pit page. So I got the best of both. I got Dale Keown's Incredible Hulk and Dale Keown's Pit. And I was like, well, there you go. So scratch the itch.
That's
Absolutely incredible piece, I think.
Yeah, I
And
know.
then
Keep
go
talking
ahead.
about all the good pieces of art you've gotten through Cal or that's I love. Yeah, these are all good stories. But uh, yeah, are you planning on bringing a portfolio of some of your stuff when you come to OAX, or is it yeah,
No,
yeah,
no,
this if it's a work trip, you probably don't want to be carrying art around with you too.
no, it's yeah, because I'm going to go right to Disney World to speak at that conference. I don't want to carry it around with me. So if I do find something that's like a dream come true and someone's willing to do partial trade, we can do it via mail. We can do it via FedEx or something like that. Because it would have to be I feel like I would do the same thing where I'd say, yeah, we'll do a trade. And then I get home and like, no, 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 let's use cash. I can't part with these pieces.
Well, we will help you ship some things home depending on what you buy. We have done that in the past, but Catherine and I would love to know where are you staying when you're going to this conference, and I don't care what the conference is, but what hotel or what venue is this event at?
So I'll be staying at for OAX. I'll be staying at your hotel,
Yep.
and then I'm going to crap. My wife knows where I'm. My wife. Oh
She
my
does
god.
everything. She
So
booked the whole
hold
trip
on,
for you, didn't
hold on.
she?
I will tell
Did she
you. I
buy
will
the
tell you.
OAX tickets too?
Huh? No, I did that. Hold on. So, uh, it's called Training Magazine Conference. Hold on, Training Conference, and it is in Orlando, and the hotel is Disney Coronado Springs. So I'll be staying there, and then I'll be speaking at the conference, and then usually we turn it into a Disney World trip, but we're going to do it on the front end instead of the back end.
All
So we're
right.
going to go to Epic
Coronado
Universe.
Springs. I don't think that's one we looked into. I think I think any of the places that are on Disney or Universal property that have convention center ties are kind of expensive, or at least for us right now. OAX is not quite ready to be there, but ideally, I mean, yeah, that would be one hell of a tie-in to be like on the park. I mean, we're right there across from Universal, but to be on property would be pretty fun. I mean, you have transportation anywhere to, pretty much anything you need. You don't have to rent a car. It's almost perfect. But Coronado Springs, see Alberto, he's probably been there a few times. He knows.
Yeah, I thought I was a baller one year when I was speaking at a conference in Disneyland, and then I went to Universal Studios Horror Nights, jumped on a plane, and spoke at a conference in Disney World, and went to Universal Studios Horror Nights in Florida. I was like, I've
Jeez.
made it. I might as well be Brad Pitt right now, or I might as well be Denzel Washington. I've totally made it. I have hit the pinnacle of
Well, if
life.
you were
I've got
flying a private jet, I'd say yeah.
no.
You're still pretty close there. I mean, getting to do their haunted horror nights is in both coasts is pretty amazing. We actually do that every year because I have the annual passes
Yep.
with Universal for that the premier level, and they give you free tickets for that. Yeah, it's totally worth it, and you can park in the VIP parking lot all year long too. So it's like it pays for itself in about 3 trips.
Seriously, man. That
Yeah,
is that is awesome. I'm jealous.
yeah.
Totally
Well,
jealous.
see, it is a perk of being down here. But okay, so we just looked at the Art Adams. We've heard that you've been mistaken for a relative of Art Adams, and we'll be able to when you're at OAX, we're going to be able to compare the two of you together
Right.
to see. And let's see. So why don't we look at some other artwork? I mean, there's got to be stories behind all of these pieces, even if you end up telling me that you got permission to buy it before you bought it.
Yes.
Let's see here. Why don't we look at the John Byrne piece that you talked about, the one that you picked up from DOA, and let's see here. I know I have it. Here we go. So I'm
Yeah,
zooming.
dude.
Let's see.
So this is lightning in a bottle, in my opinion. So I've seen other John Byrne commissions, and don't get me wrong, they're absolutely amazing. For me, what I love about this is it's a snapshot in time of when I fell in love with John Byrne's artwork. When him and Terry Austin were just hitting that rhythm, I was just like, oh my God. And the way he inked this, because John Byrne not only penciled and inked it, and again, it's massive. I feel like, man, he just killed it. The Sauron, the Wolverine, it's very reminiscent of that old school vibe that John Byrne had. And I was just like, this is incredible. And when I was going to get the Assad Ribic commission from Anthony through Anthony. This was the piece that I sent Anthony, and I said, "Hey, ask him how much." And basically, Anthony started laughing. He's like, ha, 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 "That's gonna be a lot of money." So I sent it to him, and he told me the price, and I was like, ha, 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 "Yeah, that's too much money."
Right,
So
right, right. Yeah.
roll it back and or fast forward, and here's the piece that I wish I could own, but I knew I could never afford it, that I was going to ask Assad to create a version of. So I wound up, I was like, how is this possible? It's like there's a belief that if you put it out there in the universe, it kind of manifests itself. It feels true. Like so far with comic book art, I
Right.
said I
Well,
want an X-Men Kirby. I'm hoping to God that that happens. We'll
now
see.
now you know you're competing against Alberto, so just
I
remember
know.
that. And
Ah,
and if I was made of money, I'd probably want I'd still X-Men 10 is the book I want to get a page from. That's
oh,
my dream. That or well, there's probably a few other things, but that one's my favorite of all
yeah,
the
Kazar.
Hazar's the storyline. That book was so good. Yeah,
Yes.
and I've seen a few pages come up from it. I know where they're at. And but the great thing about our about this market or the hobby that we interact in is that when you put it out there that you're looking for something, there's and you have friends, usually they're looking out for you. If it's as long as it's not
Mhm.
something they want, because again, paying it forward, right? Letting you know that a piece is available, you might do the same thing for them. I mean, it's good to have good friends in the hobby. We talk about that all the time. That's what OAX is all about. You're going to walk away with 50 new friends at minimum, Mike.
We'll see. If I don't make people think I'm a jerk face, yeah. They'll like Jennifer, trust me. They'll be like that Mike guy. Ugh.
Yes, and I know Jason D'Ambrosio has a page from issue 10. And he says, get me one I like better, and I'll trade." Yes, all right. So that makes it all the more complicated.
Yeah.
Uh, let's see
We'll
here.
see. We'll see if it happens. If it happens, it's my opinion is if it wasn't meant to be, it wasn't meant to be. So the one thing I don't want to do is to either push someone to something they're going to regret or or wind up making a decision to acquire it that was not a good time and what would you say, not a good trade or not a good decision. So I've learned that if it's very clear pretty quickly if we're going to make something happen. If the person's like, well, I don't really want to get rid of it, and like I just recently asked somebody on CAF, would they be interested in moving the X-Men #1 or the Fantastic Four #1 rendition that Alex Ross did. If you remember those covers he did a version of, and the person said no, and if I did, it would be probably the same price as a 3-bedroom house. And I was like, yeah, that's not meant to be. It's not going to happen.
No, no, no. But hey, you can dream though, and that's
Oh, exactly.
right. And the pages are out there. And fortunately, at least for X-Men art and Kirby, pencils, at least the pieces aren't in the stratosphere where they're impossible to get. You can still get a good page between I don't know 10 and 18. You can still do pretty good. Are you going to get something sub 10 anymore? Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah.
Werner Roth, you can still get for 3 to 6, you're going to do something. You're going to get something good. It might not be one of the earlier issues with Kirby layouts in it, but you can still get Werner Roths, as I can attest. I have two because
Oh, I'm so jealous. Dang
they
it.
are affordable. Um, yeah, let's see. But here, let me hide this one. I'll switch over to another piece. Let's see if I move that. Because I did kind of try to keep it in order that you gave me. What do we have here? I guess that Mike Mignola piece. I know it's in your featured area on CAF, but
Yeah, this is the most views I've had on CAF. I'm kind of surprised. I wonder if because the thumbnail at a small size looks very sexy. I'm not sure, but this one I got from Berkey on his site. I reached out and I said, "Hey, can you work with me on this?" And he said yes. And I wound up getting the piece, and it's actually published in one of Mignola's sketchbooks or whatever.
Hmm.
And it's a very cool piece. I'd love to have a page by him. That's another piece that's on my bucket list. And the one thing that I've learned is don't settle. And I know that sounds weird, but what I mean is don't get something just because it's for me, just because it was a page by Mike Mignola for Hellboy. But if it's not a page that I'm drawn to, wait, just wait. So I'm looking for a page that I'm drawn to that doesn't cost more than a car. So we'll see, a small car.
Yeah,
We'll
no, I
see
mean,
what happens.
there is a fair amount of Magnolia artwork out there that's always available, and yeah, you should. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not a $600 purchase,
Yeah,
so you need to pick something, even if you're going to spend an extra $1,000 on it, right? Because it'll end up being something you'll be happier for, for having in your collection. I totally agree. We're at that level, right? Because I've been looking to upgrade, what my Freight Quietly new X-Men run, right? I want to get a nice early piece. And I really liked the piece that was in the Comic Connect auction from last week. And I had a feeling it was going to go for way more money than I thought it should. And it did. It went for $10,000. It was a good page, it had Wolverine on it, but I figured for sure it would be maybe 6.5 to 7.5 tops, but it went for 10, like 10.6 or something like that. So that just means I'm going to have to look a little harder to find the right
right.
piece.
Wasn't meant to be. Wasn't meant to be. And
No, I didn't bid on it because I felt for sure, even at 7 or 8, it was going to be a little more than I'd want to spend. I want to luck out on a $5,000 to $6,000 good page and see if that happens. I'm a big
yes.
spender. That's what Marcus says. I'm a big spender. I'm not a big spender.
What for the right piece, I think when the opportunity presents itself, I'm willing to figure something out. I mean, it would have to be a really good opportunity. And again, the stars have to align because the person has to be willing to sell it too. There was an interview. It might have been on your network. I'm not sure, but it was someone who sold or traded the classic John Byrne, Terry Austin, Sauron holding Storm passed out in the water with you know what I'm talking about?
Oh
The
yeah,
double page spread, the DPS,
yeah, yeah.
and he traded it, and people were like, "What are you crazy?" And he said, "My opinion is we're simply borrowing it. We're simply
What
as
was that?
collectors, we're
Wasn't that
borrowing it."
Tom Coker? I'm trying to
Yep,
remember. Yeah, it
I
was Tom.
think so.
And that happened at OAX last, in January. So
Amazing,
yeah.
just
uh,
mind blowing.
Yeah. No, but that's a good way to look at it, right? You can't own everything and you can't keep everything forever. And sometimes you want something else. You want something different. And then
Yep,
it's good to have pieces like that in your collection because usually somebody else is going to want them. Hey,
I think
Jerry.
Jerry's right. I think it was X-Men 114. Yeah, it was. I was like, oh my God. And this is before I got the John Byrne page. It was
Mhm.
like fate was saying, "Hey, it's coming. It's coming, Mike." Because I saw that thing that I didn't know what happened at OAX, and it's just incredible. And I've been a member of CAF since what Bill, about 2018?
August 2020. I think it was 20.
Oh, 2020. Yeah.
I think it was 2020. Well, here we can look right there. There we go. October
Yep.
2020. There we go.
That's when I got serious. So I didn't, that's when I sold all my comics and said, that's it. I'm just going to collect original comic book art. Found CAF, said, I need to be a part of this network. And it changed everything. And now I have access to incredible people. OAX, you started OAX how many years ago? 3 years ago now?
Well, the funny thing is when we have the third show, it really would have only been 2 years, right? Because it's
That's right.
2024 January was the first, then 2025 January, and then so it feels like 3 years at the end of the day. A lot of planning went into that. Oh man, I gotta see now. I'm on my Mac. I have no idea how to turn everything off, but what I want. Usually, I just mute my Mac and it sits in the corner. Now I've got Vincent's Z texting me at 10:30 at night. Anyway, but yeah, I'm sorry. I'm rambling a little bit here.
No, you're good. And Gabriel, yeah, I'll ask anybody if they're interested in selling anything, if I'm interested, meaning that if it's in somebody's collection and I'm interested and I love it and I'm passionate about it and the stars align and they happen to be willing to let it go or trade it, I'll ask, and I will always ask a comic book artist if they're willing to sell something, because what's the worst they can say? I love your artwork. You're amazing. Would you be interested in selling this to me? I don't think they're going to be offended by that. I hope not.
No,
Lord, I hope not.
they might not want to sell it, but
No, that's true.
I mean that, and that's kind of the good thing. A lot of artists these days are kind of, they have pieces that they have done that mean a lot to them, and because of that they keep them, or they want to pass them on to their family, whatever. I mean, so you can't always buy everything, and that's okay.
Nope.
It's okay for people to get turned down on stuff, especially it builds character in the Southeast if people tell you no, or to not even reply to you. It just
Yep.
helps you learn about the etiquette of CAF and the art market in general. And yeah. And hey, I got to tell Marcus, you're actually really helping out tonight in ways that you can't even imagine. And when I had to switch to this laptop, I had to find something to put the laptop on, and so that box that you sent me is working as it's raised the laptop off the desk, and I just have to thank you for that, because it's the perfect shape. All right, onward. We have a Keown, a Hulk pit piece here, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. And if you scroll down, you'll actually see Hawk and Pitt coming out. So I'm like, don't get me wrong. I'd love something a bit bigger, but I was like, hey, I have a Dale Keown Hawk and I have a Dale Keown Pitt technically. And of course I loved how I think it was Dan Pinogia that did the inking on this. And Dale Keown, of course, did the pencils. And it's spectacularly, period. Like when you look at the layout, it's very, very timely. So very happy that I have it. And I just recently saw, was it a Pit sketch from, oh, remember Wizard had the artists would do in Wizard magazine, they'd have the artists do here's how you draw such and such.
Oh yeah.
And there was one in there, and I bought all the copies just for that as an artist. And there was one where Dale Keown sketched Pitt, and it just sold on Heritage, I think it was, about 3 or 4 months ago. For More Like You, I was keeping an eye on it. And I was like, I'd love to have that, but it went for more than I could justify. So that would have been amazing. But I am very happy with this Dale Keown piece. I think Keown's run on the Hawk is one of his best, and of course his work in Pitt was amazing. It was, at the time, it was pretty revolutionary. I remember seeing his artwork and being like, I don't know who this person is, but they're an incredible artist.
Yeah, the covers were amazing. And
Oh
I mean,
my
so is
God.
this your first Keown then?
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, that's a good place to start, right? You have a piece that you're satisfied with, and maybe you upgrade one day, but you started in a good place because it kind of ticks all the boxes on what you wanted. And that's honestly the best you can do when you're buying artwork, is to don't blow it on things that you're not going to love a year from now. Buy something that, like, it actually has the potential to stay in your collection for a lot longer. Like, if I look at something and I know I want to keep it for 5 years, then it's worth buying. I mean, a lot of times we all see stuff, that excites us, right? Or makes us think, oh,
Yes.
it's so beautiful, I'd love to own it. And then you realize, and then you're like, nah, I shouldn't. But yeah, something like this, that's perfect.
Yeah, I'm very happy with it. I like the lighting. I love looks like he used whiteouts. The inker used whiteout to create the sunbeams or the moonbeams coming down. I love that kind of thing. If you bring up the Jeff Darrow piece, one of the things I love about it is, first of all, it's massive. I feel like that is one thing that I stole from Anthony, was I like big art and I cannot lie. It's just one of those things where I typically do like oversized. But painting is my jam. But the Jeff Darrow piece, what I love about this, besides its classic Jeff Darrow, is and I didn't, just like many other collectors, I didn't appreciate Darrow's work until I got older. I didn't appreciate Kirby's artwork until I got older. But if you look at this, you can see where his hand smudged and he erased away
Mm.
to redraw something. My God, I love that. I love seeing the lines where he made sure the scales were in perspective. And I just love seeing the where he erased away and redrew the person, because and you see the lines of perspective, and it's very cool to see the behind the scenes of what wound up being this really cool, interesting cover that's again very Darrow. And the thing about Darrow with having it really big is I find something almost every time I look at it that I didn't see before. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's like a Where's Waldo, right? I mean, I just saw the cat in the street, or is that a
Yep.
dog? I can't tell. There's another one over here. Maybe they're big rats. You never know. But yeah, it's but that's one of the things you love about Darrow's work. It's there's a lot of details in it. I mean, his character illustrations are fun too, but I always love pieces like this because he
Mhm.
does draw a great city. Uh,
No.
yeah,
Yep.
street scenes, and this one's fun.
It is. It's a fun piece. And again, if it was, one of the ones like I know he did a Spawn piece and he did a Daredevil piece and the prices were out of my reach. But this piece was a cover and it was within, I think it was, I want to say Anker sold it to me. I can't remember who it was, but whoever it was, they had a few Darrow pieces, and this piece I got very lucky. I got very lucky with it. And again, I can see the artist, making mistakes and fixing the mistakes. And as a fellow artist, I'm like, oh, I bet you he regretted that decision and loved that decision. You get happy accidents. That's the one thing that happens as an artist. So I mean, I would think. I can't speak for Darrow. I remember so years ago when I was drawing comic books, I got to do a signing at New York Comic Con. So Dave and the writer, Dave was the artist at the time, Dave Baker, and the writer, I'm trying to blank on his name. We drove up to New York and it was a snowstorm, and it was like they had like 6 feet of snow or something ridiculous, like 3 feet of snow. So I'm there, and that's when I just so all these artists that I idolized back in the day were there just walking around. Like Jeff Darrow's walking around. He's a very tall guy. He was in the same hotel we were in, and again, I didn't appreciate the artwork back then. But long story short, I got to meet these amazing people at this New York Comic Con event where I got a tiny, tiny taste of what it'd be like to, have a career as a comic book artist. Because we were in what is it, the indie section where you can, you buy a table and people sign up, people do it. And I remember I was there and I ran into at the time, well, I still do. I idolized Glenn Danzig from Danzig, the band, and I bumped into him and I was like, oh my God, it's Glenn Danzig, and he's a comic book fan as well. And so I
He's an art
left.
collector too.
Yes, he
Yeah.
is. And I got to meet him and I was like, oh my God, I never thought I'd get to meet you. So I walk over and Fugazi, another band at the time, had a booth and they had they were in all their gear. Fugazi is a bit of a theatrical, blood squirting everywhere band. And the female musician, I cannot remember her name. She had the black thing, and she had a faux metal brassiere with spikes coming out, and it was just she's all made up. And I said to them, I said to somebody, I said, "Oh, I ran into Glenn Danzig," and she said, "What?" And I said, "Yeah, I ran into Glenn Danzig." She goes, "Show me." So she grabs my hand and starts pulling me through the New York Comic Con Convention Center. So meet this nerdy kid and this person who's dressed up with like metal brassiere and everything sticking out, running through the convention center to find Glenn Danzig. I was like, well, this is a moment I won't forget.
Did you tell your wife that story?
Yes, I did. I did.
All right, well, that's good. At least, yeah, you didn't hide that one from her. You gave her the whole details, even the wardrobe, spiky bra.
It was right. She was all made up. All of them were made up, but she was most interested in meeting Glenn Danzig than anybody else. And I
Mhm.
wound up facilitating a conversation between her, and then I just backed away slowly because it was awkward. I was like, all right, I'm out. Meaning me being there was the awkward part, not them. They were fine.
I get it. Now, I'm scrolling through your gallery. I think I found the next piece. You mentioned Bianchi
Gore, sorry, Gore. I'm sorry. Yes, right. I meant
uh,
Gore.
Gore
Yeah, I don't know what I said. Fugazi. I don't know what I said.
Fugazi.
Yeah.
But here, Wolverine, Simone Bianchi.
Yep. So I because I always wanted a Simone Bianchi painted piece. I think DJ is his name. Bought the Thor I had on Comic Art Live the Thor Simone Bianchi cover. He bought that. Then I took that money and bought this piece. It's an unpublished, to my knowledge, Wolverine painting. So, at the time, this is what I could afford. And I think this is the piece I got from Anker. It's Ankur, I believe that's how you pronounce it. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, just make fun of me. But it's a really cool piece. And I
Well,
mean,
Anthony would
buying
say anchor, but
Anchor.
it is anchor. Yeah,
Okay.
you got it right. Anthony gets it wrong.
So it's a really cool piece. It's a fun piece, and buying a painted piece of like Wolverine or something like that from Simone Bianchi would be too pricey for me. And so this piece was unpublished, so the price was reasonable, and I was able to pick it up and very happy. It's hangs right next to the Alex Ross pieces upstairs.
No, it's beautiful. I
Very
love.
cool vibe.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes you got to go the unpublished route, to get something that you want, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, shoot, it's yeah. I mean, I'd be happy if that were my example piece from Simone. You'll
Yep.
get to look at a lot of his stuff when you're at OAX, of course, because he will be there with Mr. DiTullio and DeMio and Assad. You'll get to see Assad there too.
Yeah, I've never met Assad. I think Assad's stuff is amazing. I'm drawn to the painters. Not that I don't think people like Dale Keown or Alex or Art Adams or anybody else, it's just incredible. It's just because of my background, I never really got very good at painted artwork. So I appreciate it a bit more, but just because I couldn't even come close to doing what they're doing.
Mm. Well, I mean, that's why you're going to love OAX. We literally have a whole room practically full of painters that are doing work that, yeah, you know it. With Dave Palumbo, Julie Bell, both the Simones, Assad. I mean, you name it. There's, Donato's in that room, Ryan Pankos, Dave Palumbo. It's pretty spectacular. And one day you're going to be like, Saturday just wasn't enough. But
I know. I'm afraid. I was talking to people that have been there before, and I said, "Hey, should I just skip this year if I can't go more than one day?" And Jim Warden was the one that's like, "No, no, no. It's better to go one day than no day." So that's how we're doing it.
yeah, yeah, I think we're going to be able to announce the dates and everything by the time of that show. So you'll be able to plan ahead for
Yes.
2027. That's the thing. And be like, all right, let's hope there's no conferences I have to talk at.
Right.
And worst case scenario, hopefully they'll be in Orlando at the very least. So it seems like the stars aligned for you this time around.
It did. It did. And it was once again, it was like fate was saying, you need to go to OAX. No, you seriously need to go to OAX. And everybody I've talked to is like, why wouldn't you go to OAX? And I was like, well, okay, yeah, of course I'm going to go.
Yeah, well, I'm glad Jim Warden talks it up too. I mean, everybody, it's a good show. I know that, yeah, everybody who goes walks away changed in some way, I think. But no, this is a great piece. Ankur, he's been in the hobby for a very long time, and he buys and sells a lot. But yeah, I think that this is a very nice piece. And how did you find it? I mean, did you find them through CAF? Was this being sold through?
I think so. Definitely through CAF. Definitely through CAF. A lot of the pieces that I've found were either at shows or at CAF.
Hmm?
So yeah, that's pretty much what it boils down to. And it doesn't necessarily mean it was on CAF's site. It could have been at one of the dealers, things that you do or something like that. But this one I think was on CAF. He
Okay.
he put it up for sale, and I was like, "Is it still available?" And he said, "Yes." And he waved his hands like he didn't care, like that. Yeah.
All right. So something a little different. It's not Keown. It's not Simone Bianchi. I'll even put a like on this one. So you got Sal Buscema, Joe Sinan. What is it from? It's from Incredible Hulk. Does it have an issue? Like
If you go down, it'll tell you. Oh, there
like,
it is. Yeah.
I think it's cut off. I can't make it out. Like 275.
It's in the description for sure. And
All
this one I bought at the
275.
dealer thingy. This one I bought live. You were there, and you said a good page, and I said, "Yeah, I know. This is it just captures the magic. This is when I think of this time period, and I think of Sal or John. This is Buscema. This is what I think of, and so it just had that magic. And so I threw out a number, and of course, Anthony was like, you know, doing the Anthony dance, and finally we arrived at a number that hopefully he didn't hate me for, and I didn't lose sleep over. So,
Yeah,
and it was a Hulk transformation page, which is nice.
signed by Jim Shooter too.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's great. I mean, the Sinat Sinks over Sal is beautiful. I mean, I think Sal was always an acquired taste early on, but I love his work now. But yeah, I mean, but having you know, Sinat inks on it just makes it really, really nice. I mean, it still feels like Sal. You know, that's Sal's Hulk, right?
And you got that Kirby-esque craftsmanship for the computer thing.
Oh yeah,
It's
all the
very
machine.
Kirby-esque.
Oh yeah, no, that's great. Very great piece.
Yep,
And
I enjoyed it.
I'm working out a deal with Anthony. It's sometimes never easy, but
No.
but they do happen. They've happened a lot over the years. Anthony knows he can make deals happen when he wants. No, I love this piece.
Yeah, there was a one of the other pieces I have on CAF. I bought at Baltimore Comic Con from Anthony. I feel like everything I've gotten through CAF is it was a Hellboy painting by a Croatian artist. And flash forward again to today. Um, we went up going to Croatia. Had I remembered that the artist was from Croatia, I would have done a little bit of homework to see if I could have randomly, gone to their studio or something. So Jennifer and I just got back about a month or two ago from Croatia, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this particular artist who he hasn't done a whole lot. He does more with Magic the Gathering and things like that, I believe." Yes. Yeah, I don't know if it was Alex Malie. I can't remember, but it's one of the pieces on CAF. It's the only other Hellboy piece I have on CAF, and it's a name that if I try to pronounce it, I'd get it way wrong. But it's just one of those small world things where I just fell in love with the artwork, and I didn't know who the artist was. And Anthony was like, throw a number out at me, and we went back and forth. And he walked away, and he came back, and it's fun. I love coming to a deal. I think that's one of the more fun pieces of what we do. It's fun to do that.
Well, you're one of the few people that will say that. But oh no, it's Milovoj. Okay, Saran. Yeah, we is that. Sorry, was that one of the pieces? I can load it up here. Yeah, he works for Magic the Gathering. He
Yeah,
does,
that's it.
but he also
I
does
thought.
he does paperback book covers and things. But Milovoj is awesome. I've only gotten to meet him in person once, but at IX probably 10
That's
years
it.
ago. But he's fantastic. Yeah, I love his work. Yeah, he's really, really very, very talented. And it's cool to get a piece of non card art related stuff that so that this is a cool piece to get from him.
Yeah. It again, it had a very cool vibe to it. And I didn't know who the artist was, and now I do. And I through CAF, I'm able to look it up and see what else he's done. And I just reached out to another CAF collector who has another piece of his, and it's this really cool Yeti piece. And I was like, "Oh my God, that Yeti is perfect!" And that guy was started laughing. He was like, "Yes, yes, it is."
I put a link in the chat for anybody who wants to check out Milovoj's art. He is really, really talented, and he's I think he sells his stuff through the Magic the Gathering group up on Facebook and a few other places. But yeah, yeah, he's a very, very good guy. Yeah, and you should check him out. Follow him on his socials.
Yep. I I look at when I went to the Bethesda comic event, where the people we were over, I think it was Lee's house, and everybody was so amazing. And some of these people have collections that are mind blowing. Like I've got like, a handful of pieces compared to these people. So the joke that I'll say is I have a small but mighty collection. I buy what I love, and I try to save my pennies for those pieces, those special pieces, because oftentimes those pieces can be more expensive than I would ever predict they would be. And if I buy every piece I love, which if you're like me, Bill, the more you're in the industry, the more you're in this world, you've been in this a lot longer than I have. I appreciate so many different artists' work. I kind of want to have an example of a lot of these people, but I know that if I do, then I'll never be able to have those bucket list grail pieces. I just won't be able to afford it.
Well, that's where making that list is important, and and trying to follow it as best you can. But no, I get it. And I love the fact, clearly you do lean towards the painterly side of stuff. I love, I have a lot of paintings on the wall. I love color pieces, painted stuff. And yeah, by and large, they're not cheap, but but you get something that means a lot more to you in different ways. I don't know. It's all in what you love at the end of the day.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of guys who only go for who love the black and white, right? They love
Yep.
pen and ink on paper, and that's fine. I mean, but clearly, you look at the Adi Granov piece, this piece, the Alex Ross stuff. It's in your DNA as a collector. That's awesome. And a lot of times, I mean, like you're talking, you related collecting painted pieces to things that you didn't really do as an artist, you know, and we all come about it in different angles, but that's yours. And I think again, that's awesome. And there's not enough paintings on CAF by Milovoj. So the idea that you have one is great.
Yep. Very lucky to have it. The Adi Granov piece was one of those, again, it was meant to be because I didn't even think it was out there in the wild to be had. If you go to my want list, there is a want list piece that I talked to Alex Ross's rep Sal, and I said, "Would you? I really want this piece." And the guy Sal said, "Alex will never let this go, ever."
And that's your
I
one.
Yeah, I'm like, man, I love this piece because I love zombies. I love Alex Ross's paintings. He killed it with the Loki skull zombie at the bottom left. I was like, oh my God, that's perfect. And according to, again, I don't know if Sal is pulling my leg, but he's like, nope, this is in Alex's private collection. He's never going to let this go. Maybe one day, but if it doesn't, at least I can appreciate the digital versions of the comic book.
Right. But see, that's back to what we were talking about earlier. Some artists just, they keep the pieces that mean something to them, or they feel they deserve an attaboy, so they're going to keep that piece.
Yep.
That one is one of them. And Robert Berman said that Hellboy piece by Milovoj has been up on CAF for 4 years and has no comments. Get busy, CAF. Yeah, here I'll put the link in the chat just to make it super duper easy for you. And so somebody's got to leave a comment on there. I'll leave one after the show. But there you go.
Yeah, I'm surprised that this didn't wind up being in some kind of like Hellboy fan art or something. Because to my knowledge, it was just him painting it because he loved it. I don't think this was a commission. And someone told me, I think Anthony told me he studied under Assad Ribic. I don't know
That
if that's true.
I've not heard that, but I guess it wouldn't shock me if
I don't know.
if they were at least in the same studio, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I think so, because I'm trying to remember the gentleman who always traveled with Milovoj back in the day. I mean, he looked a lot like Assad. He was big, Ukrainian
Oh,
guy, but his name escapes me. He paints some of the badass looking dragons you've ever seen, and I can't remember his name at the moment. I mean, Kazar might remember his name. I don't know if you Google them up. They were like a pair. They went to every show together for like 8 or 9 years. It was just like they would always whatever one would do, the other would do. So you'd see them together all the time. I can picture his paintings, but I can't think of his name. Anyway, there's not enough of his art on CAF either. All right, let's see. What are we going to look at next? I have the Tyler Crook piece. It's colored too.
oh, I forgot about Tyler Crook. Yeah, painted. It's
Mhm.
hard for me to. I mean, his stuff is so much fun. He's got this piece that I kind of don't want to say that I love it because then if I ever reach out to him and say I want it, he'll be like, "Well, you love it so much, you got to pay $1,000 billion for it." But he did this one 4 cover spread of DC Deceased or whatever it's called. Where the where Superman and everybody's like zombies.
Yeah.
I dig on that, and he's had the piece on his site. Tyler Crook's had the piece on his site for a while, and I'm one day I'd like to get it, but if it's like either that or put that money toward a Kirby or a Roth or something, it's hard to do that. But this was from oh poop, what was it from? It's in the description.
Let's see.
Oh,
Black
it's from
Hammer.
Black Hammer. Yeah,
Yeah.
Colonel Weird Cosmogog. And this was Talkie. Talkie was the name of the character, but I thought he did a wonderful job. There was another page that came up, and I went to snap it up, and it was this page from the same issue that had like 5 panels, and it was kind of telling the story. In the center was Colonel Weird and Talkie or something, and then it showed like different vignettes, or I think that's the right word, around the outside, and I just missed getting it, and I'm like, gosh darn it. But his painting style is so much fun. I mean, my God, it's just he's got this real cartoony vibe, but he's very good with textures and color, and it creates a mood. And he can get away with these cartoony faces. I remember I was working a job. I think I was in LA. I was working in LA for a month, and I'm in a hotel room, and I stumbled upon Harrow County, which is by Tyler Crook, and I can't remember the writer. And I just fell in love with his artwork after that. And I think I have a piece? Yeah, so I got a cover from Harrow County, which is my first Tyler Crook piece I got, and oh my God, I love that piece. It's one of the other. I have 3 Tyler Crook pieces, and my favorite is the one Harrow County cover, and it's got like again, it's a skull. I don't know why so many damn skulls in my artwork.
It's a it's a common thing, right? You can't avoid it.
Yeah.
But we avoid it here at my house. But Maureen has always said that I can't hang any artwork on the walls that have skulls on them. It's forbidden. So I never buy anything with a skull.
Fair enough. We have so we'll go to the Ren Fair, Renaissance Festival in the area, and for a while there we were buying. There was a person that sells like ram skulls and things like that, and they have the beautiful ornate skulls, and these are animals that were put down for for reasons, like they're not just killing them so they can get their skull. At least I hope not. But so we have a few of those up on our walls. I mean, if you came to my house, you'd be like, "What's wrong with you, man? What's
Well, like you
happening?"
said, you and your wife are a pair of occultists or something, right?
Yeah, no, certainly not. And I feel bad that if, I almost feel like we have to like tell people, look, we're just we just think it's beautiful. We just think nature's beautiful. And so we have, the root teak wood furniture, because it's gnarled and you can see how beautiful it is, but also the paintings that we like. And and sometimes it's a skull and sometimes it's not.
Hmm. All right, let's see. Oh, the Darrow I had next. The Palumbo we looked at, and then look
Oh,
at this.
this, yeah.
You got a Gigzilla. You got a JP piece here. Come on, everybody loves
Oh,
JP.
this is fun, isn't it? It's just one of those fun pieces. I asked for a commission from him because there was another piece he did was the X-Men, and they were selling it. Jiggy was selling it, and I missed it because as soon as it came up, somebody snatched it up, and I was like, "Gosh darn it!" So I said, "Can I get a commission similar to that?" And it was taking a bit longer than I wanted, and I wasn't happy with the direction. So I said, "I'll tell you what. Can I just buy that? Is that other piece still available while you finish the commission and you can sell it any way you want?" And they said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, then I'll just use the money that I would have paid for the commission and buy that piece." And so, because this piece is so much fun, I mean, Black Manta fighting SpongeBob, I mean, why not? And a Beatles reference because
Mhm.
you can. It's just it's funny, and the rendering itself is very well done. I like the line work that he did, and the colors are fun, and so it's one of those things where it's like the Jeff Darrow. The more you look at it, the more you see.
Oh yeah, no, I mean when JP was doing these for a couple of years, right? I think he still is doing them, but these pieces were just phenomenal. I think a lot of people when they saw them come out were like, oh, if it was just my characters, I'd buy it in a heartbeat because they're reasonably priced, but just so much fun detail in them that
Yep.
yeah. So there's not enough of them. I think they must take him a long time to do. So it's not like you're going to see a couple dozen of these on Comic Art Fans because of the amount of time that he has to put into them. But yeah, this one's totally fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's just it's almost the mashup is almost ridiculous, which makes it better. And like you're gonna see Black Manta fighting Patrick, never. And they have Barnacle Boy, yes, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. I mean, like it's funny, and it's kind of like a nerdy joke because it's supposed to be Aquaman and Aqualad. And so I love that kind of stuff. I think that's fun that SpongeBob did something like that to throw back to the Super Friends time of things where, I was a kid and a lot of the writers were probably kids watching those shows or reruns, if nothing else.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I have a few pieces from JP. I mean, they're great. I mean, he did the
Yeah.
first OAX poster because we knew he would kill it, and he did. It was it hangs on my wall. I get to look at it every single day. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of JP.
And he seems like I don't know if he's going to be at OAX, but he seems like a
He
nice
is.
person.
You're gonna get to meet him there.
Oh, cool.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's you follow him on his socials. He writes music. He has his own band.
Wow.
He's a man of many talents.
Yep. You wouldn't happen to be able to bring up the Tyler Crook Harrow County page, would you?
I can find it.
Yep. Yeah, that one is I mean, I just think that's perfect Tyler. Like it's just God, he's so talented. I wish it was bigger, but I think don't have the highest res. But man, that lighting and it's a layout that I've not seen done before. And the color combination, the using the white paint to bring out the highlights with the texture, it's so well done. And I'm guessing it's watercolor. I'm sure he's mixed media
Mhm.
because the opacity of some of the whites. But man, did he capture this moment? I mean, it's such a surreal image, but it has such a strong vibe to it. And man, those colors are gorgeous. Color combinations I typically wouldn't see on a comic book cover.
Right. What's the size on the piece?
Standard comic book page-ish, maybe a little smaller.
Okay.
I don't have any of those pieces laying around right now, but it's about, yeah, it's probably about yeah, it's probably about this about yeah, big, about standard size.
Yep. And it is another big skull. Just another.
I know. I know. I don't know what's wrong with us. Well, I'm the one that falls in love with him, and Jennifer says like, yeah, I like it. We have a rule. We both have to like it because it's our money. So if I buy something, we both have to be on the same page.
Happy household. That's all. That's all you can ask for. That's what that is. I mean, again, we all can't wait to meet her.
Yeah, she is. She's way cooler than I am. I assure you. I'm a 2. She's like a 15. She's such a lovely human being.
All right. Well, yep. Saturday only though. So you get in like Friday night? I mean, is it or you literally are getting in on Saturday morning?
So, Bill, you're gonna make fun of me. We're gonna and I was gonna tell you this on the down low, but so I'm gonna fly. So I'm speaking at a conference Wednesday.
Hmm.
Thursday we fly over to Florida, and then Friday we're using that day, as much as I want to be at OAX, to go to Epic Universe for the first time. And we're gonna do a fast pass or whatever it takes to get on as many rides as possible. So I'm sorry. I would really like to be at OAX, but Jennifer was like, I really want to go to Epic Universe. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna go over on Saturday to Sunday we're commuting to Disney, so maybe I can buy a ticket and go on Sunday as well. I don't know
Well,
if they're still available.
Yeah, you should be. You never know. Sundays, but yeah, you're gonna love Epic. I've been there 2 times, and it is
Okay.
fantastic. And making the trip, you got to go there. I would encourage anybody who's coming to OAX if you have an extra day, except if it's Friday. But
Sorry. Yeah, I wasn't gonna say it out loud, but
but where are
my
you
wife,
staying on Friday night though? Are you coming up to the hotel?
I mean, yeah, we're gonna be staying at the hotel. So, but again, I don't have a ticket, so I'm not gonna crash your party.
Well, but by the reception's over at 8, and people are there's going to be other things to do. So,
Okay.
and I know Epic, I mean, it's that time of year probably closes at might be 7 or it might be 8, but either way, you're going to be at the hotel by 9. So
Mm-hmm.
you need to be, get your bags in your room and then just come down. You're either going
Okay.
to be doing stuff in the lobby. I mean, there'll be a lot of stuff to do, but I think there's going to be some offsite things going on as well. But I think the bub crawl will be so you're going to miss the bub crawl, but you can catch the end of the bub crawl when they make it back to Miller's or wherever Wolfie fans got his things planned. But it'll be fun. There'll be stuff to do up until midnight and as late as you want, probably.
Cool.
Yeah.
Jen and I will definitely check it out as long as people don't mind us just randomly showing up. They're like, who's this guy?
Right. He doesn't have his badge yet. Yeah,
No.
exactly. And you won't be able to get your badge until Saturday morning. So just keep that in mind.
Understood.
You don't have to have a badge to do the stuff, around, where we'll be hanging out and drinking or hanging or
Cool.
doing whatever.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, let's look at a few more pieces here before we call this an evening. Let me see. I want to make sure I'm looking at all the tabs that I opened up here beforehand. Oh, well, we had to look at these because you did pick some animation cells, and honestly, I don't. Has anybody else? I can't think of the chat. I mean, have we had too many animation cells shown before? I don't think that we have. So I thought that was cool. We are actually having A2X Animation Art Expo as part of the show as well. We're going to be leaning into that a lot more, going forward. And so you had this piece and another that you had selected. So I thought it was cool. I mean, everybody loves Scooby-Doo and Shaggy, right? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah,
so
this is so Jennifer at Comic-Con, she said she said I'd like to get these two animation cells, and I was like, oh, it's not really my jam, but I do really appreciate it. And she's like, here's the deal, you just bought an Alex Ross piece, I can get me some Scooby-Doo and Ren and Stimpy cells. And I was like, yep, you're right, yep 100%. So she bought these were her purchases, our purchases, but this was, according to the person that sold them to us, this was one of the opening animation cells. Not the painted background was probably something different from the opening of one of the many Scooby-Doo versions. So I couldn't screen match it, but I didn't look that hard either. So, but we bought it from a reputable person, so we believe that it's legit.
hey, that's cool. That's very cool. I have not picked up. I've got a few pieces, mostly stuff for the kids, and then a few for myself from like the X-Men cartoons. But I've always wanted to get something from Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the painted background has nothing to do with this particular scene. It was just one they had laying around the studio, and they just went, nah, put it behind that.
Yep. Yep. And then what was the other one? I didn't load that one up yet. Okay, because there is another piece of animation arts. This is another Tyler Crook piece. Yeah.
Yep, this from Black Manor. I thought this was very cool. I put the three pieces together on the wall because I love the color combination. Because you have the green talkie, you have the kind of like gray with the green and yellow, and then you have the red over here. So it's a nice triptych to put the three together.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Jennifer's in the chat. JT Bach 2442.
There we go.
There she is. She's down there. She heard me up. I heard her yelling something. I said something that apparently got her going, and she yelled something.
Well, we'll get to see that interaction live a few months from now. So welcome to the chat, Jennifer. Yeah. But yeah, I wanted to find that other piece of animation art. Let me see. I know. Where was it? You probably got it assigned properly. Here we go. So yeah, you got a Ren and Stimpy cell.
Jen bought it because she's like, this is how I feel about doing dishes. I was like, I have to agree with you. I am not a fan of doing the dishes. And our rule around the house is we don't always adhere to it because of our lives are quite busy sometimes. But if she cooks, I clean. If I cook, she cleans. So that's the rules, and we try to always adhere to that. And so this was her thing. Like, I don't want to have to clean that.
I get it. No, that's the same rules we have here in the house, except my kids don't adhere to that. But usually Maureen cooks, so I have to clean. Yeah, that's the rule. Like, and
Yep.
I get to hang it, and it actually works out well here because typically if I didn't do that, I'd go right back to work. So this gets me in. I stay in the house. We talk more. But that's so you get to have dinner, and then you do the dishes. So yeah,
100% agree. I completely agree. Yep.
but this is the perfect. So is it hanging in the kitchen?
It is. It is hanging in the kitchen. And I think the
Okay.
background is accurate to this one. I think this might actually be the painted background for this particular scene, or at least something that was in this particular episode. I didn't try to screen match it. It was like, nah, super cool. It captures the moment. And I agree with Jen. There's an episode of Malcolm in the Middle, I think it was. And in this episode, they had a trained monkey that would like, it was dressed like a maid and it would service the house.
Uh,
And in the episode, it left a note that said monkey hate clean. And I was like, yes, yes, the monkey and I agree.
uh,
Monkey
so,
hate clean.
so do you prefer cooking then? I take it that's the if you had it your way, or you're gonna say no.
No, no, I would rather clean because my wife's a better cook than I am. So she's really awesome.
There you go. Well, that's great. I mean, that's something I would definitely hang in the kitchen too. I think. What do I bought an animation cell from. Oh gosh, I can't even remember. It was from a cereal commercial, so that's what hangs in our kitchen. But yeah, so there you go. Everybody, animation art's cool to collect. So
Yeah,
you don't have to have a ton, but just some pieces. They go well. They're colorful. They're color from the start by and large. Um, yeah, we even have a Pokemon cell. So
ooh,
we've tried to branch out. They're fun. So you'll get to see some cells at OX this year. So I hope everybody walks away with something, just like some people did with there's those what was it the paintings of Mr. Now I'm just having a brain fart. It's been a long day. The Perry Rodin covers. That's what it was.
gotcha.
Anyway, so let me see. I think I hit all the tabs, or did
I
I?
think you did.
I forget anything. I'm looking
Yeah,
at my PC is finally up and running, sort of behind me, and I'm looking at all the images you sent me. I think we got to look at all of them.
yeah, that's fine. I mean, people can go to the CAF gallery and look at other stuff. Like I said, I don't have a massive collection. I'm really particular with what I buy. I save my pennies so that I can find those my grail pieces and something that I believe Jennifer will be excited about. The beauty is my enthusiasm and excitement is transferable to her and vice versa. So we both get excited about this stuff. It really is. So what you've done on CAF, it's you've given collectors a place um, to share their comic book history, to share their history of the art, and social media and the auctions are going to come and go. You know, the social media thread's going to come and go. What you've done, Bill, is you've given context to the art form. And so you've created this place that allows people to celebrate, original comic art. It's a broad category to just say comic art, but the art form is, who knew? Like, when I have no idea when you created CAF, but I can't imagine that you predicted that original comic art would become what it is today. It is a completely legitimized form of art in the sense that it's kind of like the trajectory that comic books went to graphic novels. We have to legitimize it. I mean, look at the stuff that's coming up on Heritage Auctions and Comic Connect and Comic Link and Hakes. It's just mind blowing, mind blowing.
Yeah, I mean, we always felt that the art would catch up to comics and things because when I started collecting in the late '90s, John Byrne pages were still, from Uncanny were $2,500. I mean, I had 5 of them, you know, I mean, they were too cheap. Uh, you know,
Ah,
but you always looked at that stuff and felt that at some point someone's gonna get, you know, they're gonna figure it out, you know, that this is really a true art form that is going under the radar, you know, and that's when everybody's going to get disappointed, and that's really what started happening, you know, right before the pandemic and through it. But it's, you know, it deserves to be in a museum. The, you know, the Lucas Museum is going to be incredible. You know, they open a little less than a year from now. I mean, that's going to change a lot of things too. I mean, we can look at the advent of the auction houses, kind of getting people's to focus and spend the right kind of money on the artwork. But you know, it's but no. So I think we always saw it. We just didn't know when it was going to happen, and I don't think we've seen the end of it. Out of all
mm,
the collectibles markets that are out there right now. I mean, you've seen downturns in comics and sports cards and things like that in the last 3 years, but the art market has remained strong, right? And I think that you know, I don't know, you know, where the limits are, you know, but yeah, I think that we're going to continue to see focus put on the narrative arts, you know, across the board. You know, the illustrators like Milovoj that you appreciate, to the Adam Kuberts who've been in the business for a long time, down to the guys like Mannix who might be eclectic, but you know, people love them, and you know, I just think that yeah, it's going to be an interesting 5-10 years watching the hobby evolve while all these things take place. I'm sure there's going to be more notable shows, not just the gifts that happen. And yeah, I'm excited. It's fun to be a part of it, you know. And again, as art collectors, we get to be a part of it. You know, it's you know, that's the thing. You know, you grow up thinking you can't own art, but with comic art, illustration art, you can. And so it's cool seeing it getting its the due it's been deserved for so long.
it
So.
is. And to know that you've been a big part of the history of the evolution of it going to where it is, that's pretty cool, man.
I'm very happy with the way things have worked out, of course. Yeah, no, it's fun. Absolutely fun. I mean, I never, you know, you get to grow up reading comics and then get to have Adam Kubert sit in the room next to you doing an art sale with him. I mean, all that, you know, you have to pinch yourself. But the thing is, you know, uh, you know, it's just like Adam, he's like just, you know, just a normal dude making art, you know,
Yep.
loves his old cars, likes riding motorcycles, all this kind of stuff. He's no different than us, so it's just fun. It's fun to be immersed in this, and that's what an OX kind of gets you in that framework where you can, you know, get close to the creators, which you can't get, you know, have happen anywhere else. That's why I'm glad you're coming to the show. I think you're gonna love it, and you will make a 2-day event out of it in 2027 if you're not doing a lecture somewhere. So
No. We were going to do the VIP thing. That's what we were going to do this year, but the timing, it was
well,
too tight for
ethics more
us.
important this time around. You know, I get it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you'll do just fine on Saturday and Friday
Cool.
night.
Awesome.
All right. So, well, then we made it. We made it to the end, man. We always, you know, I apologize for the technical difficulties. You didn't get your video intro like every other interview that we do here. If only I had uploaded the video before I rebooted my computer, it would have been in there. I made it. I'll send it to you. So
Cool.
because what did I pick? I picked the Simone Wolverine image to be like the final image, you know, when it showed the name and everything. So yeah, I'll upload it. You can see what I did. But
Cool.
Mike, a lot of fun, man. And as soon as you said, you know, as soon as when we were emailing, when you mentioned buying, you know, the Granov piece and that you were going to OAX with Jennifer, I was just like, you know, the timing's right? Because you're picking up stuff, you're you know, and you're going to be here getting to hang out with a lot of people you've been emailing with and hanging out with in the chat. So timing was perfect. I appreciate that you took the time tonight. I really do.
Oh, right back at you, man. This was a geeky dream come true. I told Jennifer, you're not going to believe this, but Bill just said, "Hey, would you be interested in being on the show?" And she's like, "No." I was like, "I know, right? Totally going to do it." So, thank you.
Well, no, well, let's get it. Well, you know, be sure to say, you know, because things are always crazy at the OAX, but please be sure to come up and say hi while you're there. You know, Kazra and I are usually all running around doing our
Yeah.
thing, but but please, don't we need to take a selfie. I'm going to make this the year that I take selfies with as many collectors and as many exhibitors and artists as possible, because I keep telling myself that, and it never happens. And I have no take home kind of thing for the shows, but this year will be different.
We're gonna make it happen this year. I'm gonna try to get the effects. There we go.
I gotta figure out how to make my Mac do that, because my Mac does not do that. So hey, hang out a minute in the chat after we're done here. But everybody, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Sorry for the technical difficulties with the show tonight. I promise you my PC will be fixed by tomorrow. We'll see you. What are we doing tomorrow? We have Mr. Michael Lovitz and the ever lovable Anthony Snyder going up against one another in a pro-am dueling dealers match. It'll be a lot of fun. So I hope to see you then. Good night, everybody.